We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're gonna start with you, Patty, the presentation on a solar array.
Okay, well, I'll let you know what I found out. In 2021, the array produced 1,643,882 kilowatts. That is very similar to another garden that this operation owns that is approximately the same size. That annual production does fluctuate depending on the number of sunny days, of course. The garden has 86 subscribers. It does have room for more. If there's any interest from the residents, I have some flyers that I can provide to the town clerk. And they would be happy to connect with them. And they offer a 3% discount. Subscribers are located in Washington and Ramsey counties. Not much to report on this local garden.
Yeah, that would be nice to have those pamphlets for the residents.
Yeah, I'll leave these with Cheryl.
Okay.
So.
What do they mean by subscribers? What's that
People
mean?
that receives power from the solar array.
Oh,
You have to check that option.
Yes. So.
does that lower your electric bill then, or?
You know, I'm not an expert on solar. I get some of your energy from them. These people are the experts, so I can leave these with Cheryl if anybody has an interest at all.
Which counties did you say? Washington?
Washington and Ramsey are where the subscribers are coming from.
Okay.
Dick, the way I understood it is, if you're a subscriber and you buy into whatever percentage, then whatever percentage of kilowatts or kilowatt equals that percentage is reported to your Excel, and then they give you a credit on your electric bill.
Oh,
You don't deal, the residents don't deal
Yeah.
directly with the solar company.
it's kind of like being a shareholder or stockholder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then Excel gives you a credit that equals.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll leave these with Cheryl. I'm also gonna give her a certificate of insurance and the letter of credit.
Eduardo, you have a question for Patty?
Yeah, that was actually gonna be it, the certificate of insurance and the letter of credit. I gave Patty just a heads up, and I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of times anytime that we give a conditional use permit, we put conditions on things, but I don't know how often we actually check on those conditions. And we talked about one of those conditions last time. Actually, I don't know if there's a microphone, but we talked about one of those conditions last time, which I guess in my not expert opinion has been satisfied, which is 8. This is the one that created the 75% cover, which is basically a cover around the perimeter. The perimeter was very well established. The details of it were outlined about the distance between the tree cover and so on. And in my non-expert opinion, I believe that all non-natively covered perimeter it has been satisfied. That's the way that I read it, and that's the way we reported it last time. However, there are, and for the chair, I highlighted the conditions that I think have been satisfied, and again, this is Eduardo, not an expert opinion. There's a checkbox 1 through 8, but 9, 10, 11 of those conditions, this is the 8 back in 18, I just have not seen proof of it, and asked Patty that they could be provided for the township, with 9 being significant as it relates to a financial instrument that would be in your name should things go haywire and we need to clean it up. And that is important to have along with, I believe it is, I didn't bring my glasses, left them out back there, but I believe it is 11, which is a certificate of insurance. We don't need to discuss the details of it right now. I believe that the clerk has added these same conditions to the current PUC renewal, but I think it's important to just follow through on these, and would like the planning commission to, as we give you advice on what to do or recommendations, that we also check on what were the conditions that were agreed to,
Yep.
and where's the evidence of it. And I do have to, right off the bat, apologize to Aggregate and to the board. I'm relatively new to the group, so I don't know the historical archives that we may have. Some of these things may have been entirely satisfied, but it's just a due diligence associated with it.
Understood.
Scott, you did have a question on the cover last time. And again, my read and reread and interpretation, it's not necessarily that 75% of what you can see would be covered, but that 75% of the bare perimeter is covered via a particular pattern, density, spacing, and so on. And to my knowledge, all of that has been complete.
Thank you.
Hopefully that makes sense. And
Does.
Patty did get a heads up on these conditions, and if we can just provide it to the clerk, put it as part of our documentation, and then we can just renew year to year.
Okay.
Okay?
And they've just been provided to the clerk.
Thank you. And Scott, I don't know what a financial security blah 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 may be, so in case you want to just check it out, because I can't attest to the validity of it or what name it needs to have and so on, in case something went belly up. The last piece, and this is just as not as a planning commission member, but more as a resident. I do walk by the solar garden absolutely every day, at least once a day. And what I have noticed, and I don't know if it's germane or relevant or not, is that the follow the sun feature functionality that these panels have and worked like a charm for many years, it's all belly up. I think that's got probably a positive externality, which is no noise. They're not going as they used to, which is not all that annoying, but it can be. On the other side, I think we're leaving some wattage at the table for what it's worth. I don't know that it is here, near, or there. The report is that it provides a certain throughput, but they're not following the sun, and I don't know if that's an indication of any kind of deterioration in the follow through on the maintenance of it. I've had no idea.
I wonder if they even know that. They probably don't, whoever owns it.
You know, Eduardo's reached out to Cheryl before, and I've reached out to the folks, and they've come out and looked at it.
Oh, so they know, okay, all right.
Yeah, I've taken pictures of it,
Yeah.
not to be complaining, just to
Yeah.
say, hey, the sun is there, and half of them are the other way, what gives, and send it to the Cheryl. Just don't want to be annoying and do it all the time, but it does not seem to be as, it was perhaps originally engineered.
And as for the letter of credit, the township is the beneficiary, the letter of credit, the lender is Midwest One Bank in South St. Paul. It runs perpetually until that solar garden starts taken out. It's for $100,000, and it is renewed every single year. It's up for renewal again in July, and they will provide me with a new one, which I will bring to you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're ready to move on with the motion to approve the minutes from May 11.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May 11th, 2022.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments?
Nope.
Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Treasurer's report.
A review of the May financial statement. We had a beginning balance of checking of $41,441, expenses of $8,410, revenue of $1,234 for an ending balance of $34,265. Our business services account went down a little, and the access account increased since April, for total assets of $489,592. Expenses were down $11,000. this year because we had the SHC consultant last year. That was $8,400, and then we had we were paying excess road salt. I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then our revenue looks like it's woefully down year over year, but last year we took out 30,000 from the UBS account to cover expenses. So that was the difference there. If you go to the bottom, the fund balances, we're almost halfway through. We're spending out of general purpose a little faster than we budgeted for. A lot of that's legal, and we're right on track on public safety. And we're spending a little bit quick on road and bridge, and that's been road salt as well, which, so getting to that's it for this report. But the one other piece of information that I have is Cheryl and I had a call with Washington County today. We met with them about a month ago. Cheryl, I noticed some invoices weren't matching up with bills, and I noticed that our costs had went up, by a multiple of almost 2. So they were auditing it, and they discovered that they were double billing dating back to 2019. So they're going to be sending us a check for $24,810. And we do still owe some invoices of around 6,000. So net will be up 18,000 over the next month.
Thank you guys for following through on that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
okay.
I think we should maybe, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I was gonna say we could put that in road and bridge, but we can always do that later.
Yeah. That's what it came out of.
And that is what it came out.
Probably should go back in.
Maybe we're not going broke. Just getting robbed.
Hey Scott, on road and bridge, part of that, our expenses in 2022 were 37,821. And
For-
21 were 23,000 something.
Correct.
Does part of that got to do with buying that truck? Where'd that come out of?
I'd have to look. It could be.
Okay,
I can tell you by the end of the meeting.
We should be awash on that by now, though, because we didn't pay Bulow.
It's coming out over time, or no, it didn't, we paid that and then we don't have to pay his.
I wouldn't think he'd have worked it off by now, because he didn't get the truck until, what, February, March?
No, he had it
No.
before that.
Oh,
Yeah, before.
Yeah,
oh, okay, all right. Well, whatever you find out, okay.
Was the cash outlay in January or was it December? I don't remember.
I can look.
I
I
can,
don't recall off the top of my head.
in any event, we've got some revenue coming back.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ready to pay the bills?
Yep. I'll make a motion, we pay bills 78 through 88 for a total of $6,294.69.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay the bills. Any questions?
Dick, do you want to tell Paul about the money for Willie?
Yeah, actually, I seen him and I did tell him, but I'll tell him for
Oh,
the rest of
okay,
I'll
okay.
tell him for the rest of the people though. The tree removal thing. A tree fell down on the trail and, it was on a Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And I was on the way home and I'll be darned, I thought, like, I went the other way because I knew the tree fell down.
Well, 'cause it knocks your power off.
Yeah, and I thought, well,
Several
geez,
people on.
maybe it's our tree, or maybe it's St. Paul Parks. I go up there and there's Willie and Keith and 2 Rumpkas and everybody, they got it all cleaned up and hauled away and everything. And I asked Willie, I said, well, what do we owe you? Nothing, he said. No, I said, it cost us a lot more money than that to have somebody come out here on Memorial afternoon and clean it up.
Yeah.
So then we agreed to $1,200 and Keith
Shouldn't,
asked what do
shouldn't
I get.
Excel have covered that though? That was right at the power lines.
No.
The tree just, Excel came out to fix the line.
So they did a bunch of, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, it don't matter to me, he took care of it really quick, I mean, I seen
Yeah,
him
all
out
they
there.
did
but-
was chop the trees, stuff out of the way, and then Willie and his dad came out and, well, we didn't pay Keith anything.
Well, Keith asked, what about me? I said, we ain't paying you.
That's what I seen was Keith, yeah.
But anyway, I thought,
Cheap
that,
cleanup.
you know, there was no call given to them, no nothing. They just came out all on their own. Willie said he's on his way home, he's seen a tree down. I thought, I, you know, wanna thank them from the town board for
Yeah.
doing that. That's,
Yeah, that was pretty cool. All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye.
So Dick, on the truck, the plow, we paid for the plow in February,
okay.
12,000 out of road and bridge. I don't know how much has been worked off, I can't tell.
I think he has like $600 left, so not
So it's
very much,
Almost over.
yeah.
We could have him come down and trim some branches.
Well, I'm gonna have him, mow the ditches.
Okay, perfect. Reports of committees and meetings and events, planning commission report.
All right, try to make it brief, but it's super interesting, so don't miss a word. So we met on Monday, had a number of items to discuss. We opened the meeting reviewing a letter that I know you've got by Mr. Nesbitt. Let me just make the point that I think this is like the third or fourth meeting in a row that Mr. Nesbitt has both submitted a letter and attended the meeting, so I think he's maybe developing like a taste for get-togethers or something. I see him smile now. So I think he may continue attending. The nature of the letter, and we recognize this in the discussion, was advisory, which is appreciated. Some of the additional conditions that adjacent municipalities are providing on both short-term rentals, noise mitigation, and so on and so forth. So it is appreciated just to have additional info, and from time to time we consult on his background, legal background for other things. So it is appreciated for you to be there, sir, and appreciate the tone of the letter and being informational. I know you've got a copy of it, so I'm not gonna pollute your desk with it. We did just motion through minutes and so on. Then we looked at the application, the subdivision of parcel. I'm not going to read you the number, but it's basically a subdivision of parcel that you have had some debate on it or discussion on it. Very well written, submitted to you for your consideration and approval. We did want to make sure that once it gets divided, it's sort of added to the two properties, so it doesn't remain as small little slivers independent of each other.
This is the ditch between the two houses on the trail.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just kind of split it.
Once they get the GIS later, they'll just snap them together on the GIS later, and it'll just be 2 parcels, not 4.
Yeah,
Right.
They didn't divide it right down the middle.
Yeah, no, I know,
Close, yeah.
I know. I think it was,
And I've got a
Gonna
copy of
follow
it, Chair,
the
if
ditch.
you would like to see it.
I've
So
seen
this
it.
is the pre and the post, in case you want to follow along, but that, I think that's coming up in your agenda item.
Yeah, it's in
new
there.
Business,
Yeah,
in case you want to reference it. So we appreciate how well written it was, and all just, we want to advise to you that to get the item, which was completely agreed, please add it to the two properties so we don't have two subdivided slivers. We also, in my opinion, have some zoning ordinance that speaks to that.
this
division
is
and
the,
division.
this is the ultimate look right here.
That it is.
Okay.
This section goes to that property, that section goes to that property. Okay, I know we're gonna talk about it later, but anyway, if we're, we'll discuss it under action. We then transition to the continuing discussion around the IUPs. We decided on some simplicity of the language and concentrated most of the chat about what conditions do we want to add to these applications. One of the committee members had done some research on previous documentation, came up with some suggestions. We discussed them. We don't have them ready, but we've got a pretty good draft on what we want to add to the IUP language. And then a couple of just miscellaneous items for additional research, but nothing all that interesting. So good meeting, efficient, got out of there, appreciate the board members being there in order to get that context. Let me know if I forgot anything, just other members here, if I forgot anything on the discussion. That's it, thank you all.
Thank you.
Stay up there a minute, Eduardo. One other thing that was brought up was incomplete projects.
Oh, how could I forget?
I was wondering how you did that.
That was an
I gonna-
incomplete
I apologize,
commission.
it's on my minutes, I completely apologize. Do you wanna describe it, or you want me to try to set it up?
Yeah, you like talking, they don't like listening to me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So the topic came up last time and got brought up again due to the clerk having done some research on it, which is, from time to time, we either have new construction or development or remodels. They go through a permitting process, actually goes to the planning commission, they get the approvals, you recommend them, here we go. Some of them, the majority of them, get complete. Perhaps they get some extensions, but things get done. Some of them seem to get stuck, which brings two topics. Neighbors complain, sometimes officially, sometimes unofficially, and there is sort of unsightly construction and incomplete development in our community, which I think would probably have an adverse impact on all of us, property values, look and feel, and so on. Last time we brought it up, we said, what can we do? Clerk checked with Cottage Grove, I believe it was, and there's a sequence of actions that the township can do. First of all, is notification, and then an escalation of it. And I didn't bring that document for you, but it was for your deliberation, for your discussion on, should we become a little bit more active and pragmatic in trying to make sure that those permits get completed, make sure that the inspections get done, and that we don't have unfinished projects within our community. It's not that many, but there are a few, and wanted it for your consideration. At this time, we don't have necessarily a recommendation of the escalation process, but if you see that as something you want to pursue, we will just outline a proposal and bring it to you for action.
That would be very helpful. How many do you think there are?
Probably 3 that we know of.
There's no exhaustive inventory, but there's 3 that I can
Okay.
at least recollect without necessarily going around.
And
What's that?
were they new construction or were they renovations?
One's new, one's a renovation, and you know about the third one. What's that?
One is not necessarily a construction project, just an approved new construction that got stalled, and some of the clearing of the lot and so on has completed. It's actually the property you sold, but the provisional action on cleanup and wrap up of trees for the septics and so on, all of that is up in the property without promise of continuity.
Okay.
They got a lot just laying around, like, they cut some, don't they? Lots just laying around and kinda,
Well, they found a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing that probably we can do about it, but they also dug a hole the size of this room, about this deep, in one side of it, which is neither here nor there, but not sure if that has got anything to do with it. And then what at least it bothers me as a next door neighbor is the septic tank provisional location orange wrap up. That just does not look like a good tree decoration, particularly when the leaves are down. There's 2 of those completely wrapped up, destroyed, or half of it in the ground and so on. Be very, very glad to remove it, but it's not your property, so you don't go in there and start cleaning it up. But I think, for what it's worth, that one is minor. I mean, the issued permits that are incomplete, I think, is more significant. And just having a position on this would probably make sense.
Have, the other couple we got, Cheryl, do you know if they've had to renew their permit?
I believe the one down the street from me has been renewed once.
Okay. How about the one up by Paul?
No.
Okay. Because I think the only thing we got right now is we make them renew the permit and whatever, they charge them a little extra fee the second go around. But we really have nothing to make them finish these things. And I can see where it is a debt. If you got a nice house and a decent place and you got a neighbor that's got a construction project that goes on for, like in Grey Cloud, 12 to 25 years, it might tend to irk you after a while, so it's just something to think about, maybe on our permits or when we, down the line, maybe we should think about doing something on that.
Do we get like a notice when a permit goes expired or not?
No,
No,
we
we
don't
don't.
receive anything.
That's kinda interesting. It'd be nice to have, then we would know.
Well, we should know ourselves, because we issued a permit, and, well, Cottage Grove does, but we know how long it's good for. Well, Paul would know, what are they good for?
I think it
Generally,
depends on the project, but yeah.
Generally, like electrical permits have a much quicker time frame to,
okay,
if
I've
there's
never
no
seen a
work
quick electrician.
for 180 days,
okay.
then they're,
How about the building ones?
the building ones are a little longer than that.
I thought they were a year.
Huh?
I thought they were a year.
Yeah, they're a year, but, sometimes it takes more than a year to build a house.
Yeah, and that's not what,
And they, as long as the work is going
yeah,
on,
right,
it won't expire, but as soon as the work has stopped
yeah,
and it doesn't go on for, that's 180 days.
Okay.
Then the permit's expired.
I think it's just something for us to think about, as it was brought up, and something for us to
Yeah, if
think
we can,
about
yeah.
over the next
If it's okay to
few months.
continue the discussion and perhaps just give an outline of are these steps that we can advise either the clerk or ourselves to go on,
So-
or just solicit it. But I can just tell you, I'm not selling my house, I'm not intended to. But if I were today to try to put it on the market, people would say, what's going on?
Yeah.
And all I can say is, I got no clue.
Yeah,
Talk to Scott.
No, it's not Scott's problem. And I think that would be a similar sentiment by other folks that just have unfinished projects right next door. We've got-
If it's a nuisance, so that hole is this deep, kids can fall in that.
yeah, I don't think that's the point of the whole thing, though. The point is,
Well, that would be a nuisance.
yeah, but I think what we're looking at is all of them in general, not trying to pick one
Yeah.
apart, so.
Correct.
Why don't we
So
just get back to, let us think about it each personally for a while, and next month, if we think we should do something, we tell you to put it on your agenda, or if we wanna let a sleeping dog lie, or whatever we do.
So what I'm gonna
It's just food for thought tonight.
do at the end of the meeting on new business is bring up, the inspection, the need for an inspection contract with a contract inspection service. Because that ends at the end of the year, but code enforcement ends
End of this month.
end of June, And I think, the sooner we get somebody on board, the better off we'll be. And there are several contract inspectors out there, services.
Sounds good. Thanks for consideration, and we
Okay.
can take a look at the escalation proposal if need be. I just would encourage you to not just abandon it and say, well, so be it, because it's detrimental to the community.
No, it's, yeah. The next planning commission meeting is Monday, July 11th at 6:30. The next town board meeting is Wednesday, July 13th at 7 p.m. The variance hearing for AI is continued until August 17th. Was that it? And we got a little bit of work to do on that. Any other reports from committees, meetings, or events? Moving on to unfinished business, short-term rentals.
I don't think we really have a whole lot to discuss.
I don't think we have anything to discuss because
Planning
the
Commission's working
Planning
on it.
Commission's working on IUP and we should have that in a month or two.
And conditions, so that's what we concentrated on this time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll report back.
Okay, thank you. 2022 road repairs. Is this what we're talking about down on the corner there?
Yeah, I told Cheryl to put
Yeah.
it on there, if,
Okay.
if we want to talk about it this month, or last month we kicked it down the road.
Yeah, let's
We-
talk about it. I think we should do that, widening like he talked on the rail side, and then cutting that, transitional curb into the ditch side.
So we
As it
probably wanna
turns.
try and get, so essentially redoing that whole corner, like I think you, right all the way out to the entrances of both entrances, right?
Yes, yes.
So we would wanna get a couple prices to,
You know
You
what?
want- You got somebody,
I know that lady had said she would use Pine Bend, she would have to sub it out, cause they don't do that extent. So we could reach out, and she had she would give us a contact at Pine Bend unless
True.
there's other people we wanna,
she was
They're
the
big.
seal coat
yeah.
gal? No, okay.
You know, I had another thought after we met is, how much money do we want to put into that whole road? Because after driving around, our roads ain't that terrible. It's them potholes the broken out parts.
Yeah.
Another thought would be saw cut them out of there, you know, whatever chunks there are, and fill them in. I see Cottage Grove and other ones do that. Because the other way we're talking, we're probably looking at 40, 50 grand or more. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what our costs were last year.
Yeah.
Do we want to spend $50,000 in them until we, like, say, totally redo the road, or just fix them? I think we could,
Well,
I think we could, I think we
Here's
could get by
another
with
thought.
that.
We
Okay.
could redo that corner, that, all the pavement, widen it, do the
Okay.
curb, and then it's new.
If we do that, I'd sooner do the other part too, where it drops, the triangle part, you know, because it kind of all ties together.
Yeah.
I just think with the, we should look at it, maybe get some rough numbers, but our police budget kinda comes next year.
Yeah, that's.
So I
not
don't,
too
you
much.
know, maybe we wanna try and have a ease year, and then next year we'd have the police budget plus, you know, especially with costs right now, but maybe, I mean, it could be more next year too, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we pick off a big piece like that, we
Yeah,
got
we
more
do
money
have,
next year.
this ain't a good year to be looking for prices for blacktop and stuff.
It'd be curious to see numbers, and that would tell us, I mean, we could,
Yeah,
I could call Melissa and see if we can get Pine Bend to come give us an estimate for it.
maybe they could do two. They could do the two edges and then a bid
Yeah.
for that whole
Yep.
curve.
Yeah,
Okay.
How about putting class 5 along the shoulders of the places we're looking at?
Well, you don't wanna fill up that sewer pipe.
No, it's
I
the
think he's
other
talking
ones,
the other
that
roads.
across the street, and there was some on Geneva,
Oh,
and the other ones
yeah.
that, you know, we needed some class 5 along the edges.
Yeah.
Now, does that Tri-County, have you ever used them? Do they patch blacktop? And, because you were saying once that they do shoulder work and stuff like that, like put in the class 5.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Well, you think they would do, the trouble is, if we did patch just them little hunks, I mean, you ain't looking at a lot of work there, but it's more set up and get there and
Yeah.
cut it out than anything. I was wondering if there's one company that would do both. You know, do the shoulder work, you know, the class 5 and the washed out areas.
Well, we could
Plus,
call Frank. He's,
Yeah, and he kind of shoved it out to 2 different outfits, didn't he?
yeah, he always does.
Well, maybe Pine Bend, I'm sure Pine Bend Paving would do both.
yeah.
Maybe we could just call them and see what they say. Because Frank kind of just adds his chunk to it. We gonna give that project to Olman?
Let me see here.
I just know I'd rather, instead of spending 15, 20 grand piecemeal and stuff to get us by, it'd be nice to understand it might be a little rough for another year, but then if we could just actually get this stuff done and done right, you know, like that big corner and stuff with that police budget and everything.
You want Frank's number?
Huh? You can
You
give me.
want Frank's
yeah.
number?
Well, my opinion, I think we should either just patch the broken out parts this year
Right,
and do the shoulder work, or redo that whole corner like Paul was talking. You know, both the whole darn corner and you know, the two. You know, here's the curve,
Yeah,
then you got the other part here. What's his name lives down here.
we could,
I would say either,
by Grady's house?
yeah, either patch up the holes here, the bad spots, and the ones up here that go around. You know, I think we could have them saw cut out of there, filled in. And if we don't do that, I'm kind of against extending the shoulder out and doing that work here. I'd sooner do what you said if we're gonna do that, cause that's probably 60 grand.
Well, I think he was talking about moving the whole thing in one shot, not just doing the shoulder.
Well, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
But then do that whole corner, cause it kinda all ties, you know, when they do this, it ties into this and this. Go up here 50 feet and tie into the county road here.
I'll email Melissa tomorrow and I'll see if I can get a contact at Pine Bend, and hopefully I can bring a number to next
Thanks for
meeting
doing
to.
that.
Okay, and then ask them, I'm sure they do
I think it'd be
shoulder
a
work.
different contractor, we'd want somebody smaller, cheaper, maybe that Frank would be, just get an estimate to do some patchwork. Cause we kinda wanna look at both and weigh the
Yeah,
options.
I don't think he does that, I think he just calls Pine Bend paving.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll ask them, yeah, I'll
I
find
mean,
out.
just, you know, just as, if you ask them about that patchwork, you have to saw cut out whatever it has to
Yep.
and fill it in. I see Cottage Road do that all the time along the edges and
Yep,
really
Seems to
after
hold
driving around a while, the roads ain't, my God, there's a lot of other ones that are a lot worse than what we got. I just don't wanna spend 40,000-50,000,
yeah.
say widening this out. I'd sooner spend 250,000 to
If
fix
we
the whole
widen
thing.
that, we'd wanna do that whole.
The whole
thing.
corner,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, let us know what you find out.
okay.
If you want me to go with you, give me a holler or something. I got a little extra time in the summer.
So stick it on the guy.
Any other unfinished business?
Just so people are aware, we're still looking for a clerk, right? Clerk? Looking for somebody to run for clerk. Anybody knows anybody and that's interested in that, let them know. Because without a clerk, we're,
Do they need to be a resident? Is that part of the
I don't,
election process? Do you know, sir?
oh,
I am not really sure. I will check on it.
I don't think so.
think so.
I
They
mean,
might have-
We could
they're
contract it out too.
I think if we contracted it out, they wouldn't have to be, but if they're running for office,
Tons of people don't live in they don't have that. They don't
well,
live
you
in the
can't
cities.
run
they serve.
for legislator or for a district you don't live
You
in.
rent an apartment and they do it.
Yeah, they do it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would think you'd have to, see it's an elected position, I'm guessing that you'd have to live in the township.
That may be a little limiting then.
I would think,
Yeah.
like Paul said, I would think you'd be open to be able to contract it out. I mean, it might be, somebody might be I mean, who's Denmark Townships? Maybe we can piggyback with something like that, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Denmark Township's probably got darn near a full-time one, I would assume. So, but anyway,
They might have two.
what's that?
They might have two,
Yeah, they probably got a deputy clerk.
you know. All right, let's move on to new business, the lot split.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve that lot split. As it, at the meeting, at the planning commission meeting, everything looks okay.
I'll second it.
So do we need to add in that motion that we just follow up to make sure they get put together, it's planned to be done and all that? I think that's what the
Yeah,
planning commission
she's-
kinda
She
wanted.
said it's, we'll get that.
Yeah. I know everything sounds perfect, so
Yeah.
it's,
Okay,
You can go online in a few months and see if it's been changed anyway, so.
okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the lot split. All in favor?
alright,
Aye.
Aye. Edward, that's yours.
combination.
Thank you.
Great Trail. That,
Other, do you have any other before I start?
You want me to? No, no.
So we are, we will be out of code enforcement at the end of the month, and we'll be out of inspection services at the end of the year. And I think we really gotta start, soliciting some, I mean, we had, was it Quast? He called it, he had a different name for it.
We had Minspect come in and give a presentation
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah, that was Quast.
Do you want
Yeah.
them to come?
Yeah, I want them to come, yeah.
Okay.
He's a pretty good guy. Maybe at our next meeting.
I will try.
Okay.
How about the code enforcement part?
Well, they would do code enforcement too.
Oh, do both, huh?
Yep, yep. We'll just have to wrap up the couple we got
Okay.
right now.
And by the end of June, we'll probably have more.
Did you have anything else, Paul?
No, that was really about it. The stop signs, I
Right,
replied to you on those.
I've got that on my list.
Okay.
I received 2 different responses. I had Dick tell me that we decided not to put either of them up, and I had you tell me to put both of them up. So what do we want to do?
I don't think we need one on Geneva for sure. I don't really know the other, I mean,
The only reason we put talked about putting the one up on Pioneer Road there was to satisfy one resident that was complaining about it. It's a T intersection. They're all over in Cottage Grove, Woodbury. They're an unmarked intersection by state law. There's, what do you call it? There's a precedence how you go to, and the person coming into the T has to yield to the other ones. So I don't think we need it, if it's screwed up the snowplow guy.
Okay,
any other residents, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think you need it, but if residents are asking
No.
for it there, yeah. it's
No.
fine.
Paul? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so no on the signs. Next thing, I found out today, kind of by accident, that St. Paul Park does not have a CSO anymore. And the CSO is, the community services officer. That person used to do animal control. When I asked Chief Danberg if they planned to hire one, she said no, they eliminated the position because of budget cuts coming up next year.
They're short 90 grand.
And so, the reason I was contacting them wasn't any big deal, but then later this afternoon, one of Tucker's dogs attacked a woman.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and she went to the hospital.
Pretty viciously. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have not heard how she's doing, but,
So is the dog gone?
No. And I saw something on Facebook before I came here. A woman who actually stopped to help. This was Anne Marie's boyfriend's mom who was walking their dog. The dog did not attack their dog. The dog attacked her, so the mother. And this woman just posted on the St. Paul Park neighborhood site. She doesn't know who owned the dog, but she said the dog owners came out and clearly did not even care. And after she witnessed what she saw, it was pretty disturbing. Owners of the shepherds had no mercy and just wanted the dogs in the house like nothing happened. It was gruish seeing this lady roll around with this dog attacking her and my friend in the ditch helping her. She could have died if this guy didn't jump out of the car to help her. So he brought the dog in the house. And I said to Anne Marie, I hope something's gonna happen, like, you shouldn't even have to press charges. He should say, I can't let that happen again, I need to put this dog down. So I'm wondering, if someone doesn't press charges, is there
Well,
something
we
we can
have
do?
a dog ordinance.
Well, and he was told if one more thing happens with that dog.
No, not one more thing.
That's what I'm saying, when he was told a while
attacking-
ago, like, your dog needs to be in your yard, you never can keep the dog, and the dog has never been violent or vicious before, but now there's so many kids next door to them, if that was a child, it probably would have been, she went to the ER, I saw her shoes.
Did they
on
call the
her-
police? They should
Yeah, the
have.
police
yes,
came,
yes.
Okay, all right.
but her shoes, I saw her shoes, they were bloody and disgusting, I was like, oh
I just
my
don't,
God.
I mean, like an animal, I don't think that would make a difference on the police should take care of all that. I'd assume there's gotta be a charge and then,
That's what I think, there has to be a charge, like but if Anne Marie and her boyfriend aren't charging him, because he said he'd pay medical bills, and they might just wanna keep everything like
neighborly. But to me, knowing Tucker, he hasn't even been able to keep the dog in the yard after an attorney and citations, and it's like, this dog's gonna be out again. So what can happen to make sure that the rest of us are safe from this dog?
Can you give the chief a call tomorrow?
The chief contacted me right after I heard about it. I am going back and forth with her because in our animal ordinance, it says that our animal control authority, which would have been the CSO, would declare the dog dangerous. And send a copy of the declaration to Tucker, and he's got like 3 options here. But since there's no CSO, this is kind of up in the air. I'm waiting to hear back from Chief Danberg.
Okay.
Well, even if they don't have a community service officer, I would think the other officers still gotta, they can't say, well, we don't do that anymore because we laid off an employee. So it just falls on somebody else in the department. As long as we're talking about that, we should find out, well, what's gonna happen when we get, next year when we get the sheriff, something else to think about coming up, you know, when we get rid of St. Paul.
Right. I do have the name of who another community uses
Okay.
for animal control. And I gave you guys the information, I think last winter, and it was, you know, a couple $100 a month or something, and then for every call, it was an additional charge. Yeah. Okay, so that was the second thing on my list. The other thing, I checked with the Washington County Sheriff's Office just to get an update, make sure everything's on track. Okay, that they responded that they have had some planning meetings for the changeover of coverage at the first of the year. They've submitted additional deputy requests for the 2023 budget, as well as they're looking at restructuring their current general deputy zone coverage. I know when I talked to Sheriff Starry last year, he was saying right now they have the 2 coverage zones, one north of 94, one south of 94. He wanted to split it into 3 so that there'd be better coverage in the south. And then also they said from the technical side of things, changeover should be quite seamless when it comes to dispatch and records management. They anticipate making the technical changeover on Friday, December 30th, because it's a holiday weekend. And they said feel free to reach out, you know, with any other questions.
Okay. Do we want to meet with them maybe in early December with the sheriff?
Right, yeah, that's, if not before,
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe we can wait until after the election, and we'll know who our county commissioner is too. They might show up along with the sheriff.
Okay.
So sometime in November?
Did you see Wayne has stepped out?
He's not running, it was in
Yeah.
the paper, yeah. Can I talk?
Yes.
We can get our landlord. Patty, can we get the lock on the door fixed? Okay. I'll show you what's wrong. I don't know what the deal is there. It's something. We haven't used our 2,000 a year since we started renting for the $1 a year, so that's our first request, I think, ain't it? Okay. We're paying a lot of rent. We gotta get some money back.
That's it?
Yeah. That was my main thing for this whole meeting, was that door.
Did you email any pictures in off the river? That go
No,
anywhere?
no, I
never
didn't,
did?
no.
Okay.
I figured they're leaving office, they probably don't care. What he's talking about, we took some pictures of all the pile of logs and stuff in the back channel coming in there, and,
We took on a lot of stuff this year.
yeah.
Yeah. Stop me at your house, Gordy, would ya? All those big trees. Just start piling some rocks. Yeah, yep.
Are we ready to adjourn? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.